It went from one church. At some point, I had to tell my dad that I can't go to that church anymore because I just grew and I felt like this space couldn't contain me anymore. Fortunately for me in the band, I got the opportunity to go outside of Nigeria to play music. That was another phase again. But like the weird kind of sounds like the electronic music, like the rock, like the experimental music, jazz, traditional jazz, is not common in Nigeria. And when you listen to that kind of music, musicians around you tend to feel like, what's going on? All right, everyone. My name is Chinonso Njoku Nonny, also known as Grandmaster Vibe. And yep, my journey as a drummer started from early age. I think I started playing drums far back as 4 years, 3 years. As long as I could remember that I'm a human being, I found that interest for music and I started playing drums first. And I grew up in a family that there weren't so many musicians. My dad used to like music in his early days, but didn't really put in so much interest into music. So he went into business, of course. An Igbo man, what do you expect? Um, and it grew like that. I never had a teacher in my young days. I had to find every knowledge I could from everywhere. And of course, I grew up in church, started playing in church. And I mean, the church I was playing was, I'm sorry to use the word local, but there was no so many, it was not like the elite kind of church. It was like a regular kind of church, like that kind of standard where everybody just local church. And they were not paying so much attention, sorry, to music and musicians. It's just let's worship the Lord. And it went from one church. At some point, I had to tell my dad that I can't go to that church anymore because I just grew and I felt like this space couldn't contain me anymore. And I told him that I want to go somewhere else. And I was lucky to have my father accept that offer that I put on the table. And so he said, okay, fine, which church? And I told him the church, it was close to the house. It was a four square church. And that was where that was where I got my first um, formal training as a musician. That was where I learned about the drums, parts of the drums, and everything. And before I knew what was happening, sorry, um, I wasn't getting the opportunity to learn anymore because they felt like, oh, you know so much now, so you have to teach some other people. So instead of getting trained, I started training younger children in church. I was still young, but younger children in church. And I started playing in the main church and all of that. And so that distraction took over. Instead of me learning, now I was now performing. And from there, I grew up. I went to another church, like it's still in the same denomination, but a different branch. And I started growing like that, growing like that. I was finding information from everywhere. YouTube um, was one great platform that helped me. I just started watching videos on YouTube. I didn't know what they were playing. I was just watching it because it was good. And the little I could grab, I I was putting it on drum. I learn fast when I see you play. So I just listen and I re I just remake that thing in my head. I practice in my mind a lot. Um, and yeah, I started growing like that, growing like that. And in my teenage age, I was opportune to join a band that transformed me entirely. Yeah. The early part of my life was all gospel church, music, and all of that. But I never liked African music. I never liked playing African music, high life. I don't like that. I wanted to play like the Western guys. That's the way I wanted. But I think I was around 17. Yes, around 17. And I joined this band that changed my whole life. And I felt like that was where my real musicianship started from. Because that was where I understood drumming as drumming, not playing drums in church, but understanding what your role as a drummer is in a band. I mean, I play drums in church, but I was just playing, right? And now I understood what drumming means. I began to understand that every sound on the drums makes sense. Yes, they say it's infinite, like it doesn't have a finite sound, but it started becoming finite to me because the tom one makes this particular sound, the stack makes this particular sound, and there's the high, there's the low, there's the you playing loud, you playing soft, dynamics and all of that. This makes sense. It is literally like a language that people can understand if you're able to communicate it properly. And yeah, that was the Etuk Philosophy band, and that was actually one band that blew me up into that music industry. And I began to meet people, began to meet idols that I've always wanted to meet. Yeah, and fortunately for me in the band, I got the opportunity to go outside of Nigeria to play music. That was another phase again, because playing music outside of Nigeria, you get to see so many people, especially when you're on tour. You get to see a lot of bands play. You get to hear different kind of music, like music you probably might not listen to on Spotify. You listen to it in a concert, and it was intriguing for me because I began to find interest in this kind of music. I came back home to Nigeria and I started looking for music like this online to listen to, and just dive deep into that weird music sense. Because I mean, Nigeria has a box sense of music, in the sense that it has to be funk or pop or gospel or reggae, but like the weird kind of sounds, like the electronic music, like the rock, like the experimental music, jazz, traditional jazz is not common in Nigeria. And when you listen to that kind of music, musicians around you tend to feel like, what's going on? What are you listening to? I mean, and that built who I am today. And in a way, that actually helped me, that shaped my musical sense as a drummer. And now when I'm playing, I'm thinking about a lot of things. I'm not just playing the drums as a drummer. I'm playing the drums thinking of what the keyboard player is playing. I'm playing the drums thinking of what the bass player is playing. I'm playing the drums thinking of what the singer is singing and what he's thinking at that point. So it helps me communicate my drums in a music properly. And yes, that's basically my journey. So right now, I am at this phase where I've experienced being a band boy, playing in a band, and now I'm in a space where I'm creating my own type of music. I have a band called The Folks Music, and we just dropped a song online. You can check it out. It's high life music, but so many are coming. So it's a traditional music and contemporary music fusion. So we do like everything is like very, very experimental. So I'm in that space of mixing Afrobeats, jazz music, gospel music, funk, rock, everything, just bringing everything under one umbrella and creating something beautiful. The journey has been nice. It's been like 2 years with the folks music, and it's been a very good journey. Wow. So if there's one advice I would give to my younger self, that would be, I would have told my younger self that I needed to practice more than perform. It sounds weird, but I'm going to explain this. Now, in this country, we have a problem with people not learning finish. I'm sorry to use that word. Learning finish in the sense that we practice to an extent and we feel like we are good, we are relaxed. Because of the accolades, because of social media likes, comments, and all of that. But when all those things are coming, that's the time where we need to practice them more. So I would have told my younger self, man, do not listen to what people say. Just practice. Listen to music. And one of the greatest gifts I got as a drummer, it was given to me by Benjamin James of the Cavemen. When I met Benjamin James, one of the gifts he gave me was the gift of listening to every kind of music. Benjamin James sat me down and told me, Nonny. Listen to everything that is musical. Like, to tell you how much he explained this, he said, just sit down, pick up your phone, go to Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever, and just type and just search for the worst music. Like, you can go on Google and search for the worst music ever, like the worst kind of music, and listen to it. Like, listen to the most boring thing you can ever hear. Like that genre of music that sounds very boring. Like, listen to it, because in a way, when you listen to a lot of things, you are creating a bank of sounds. And the truth is, the more you listen, the more it begins to arrange itself in your head. So you of course, in a day, you listen to jazz, listen to funk, listen to a lot of things, and you just keep listening to it regularly. It keeps building up, it keeps piling up, and you find out that your understanding when playing is wider, because unconsciously to you, those things you're listening to in the past is beginning to influence your thinking. And that's one of the greatest advice I would have given myself. I will give myself, and I'm still giving myself right now, that just listen and practice more. Yes, accolades are good. Sharing is good. Yeah, social media, Instagram likes and comments are good. The content is good, but do not get distracted. Do not get carried away by what it brings. I've always said to myself that I don't want to be I'm sorry to use this word again. I don't want to be a social media drummer. A social media drummer is not because people who play drums on social media are bad. No, it's just because I don't want to be that guy that is playing drums because of everybody says, oh, he's good. I want to actually be in my space and practice more. In church, they will say your secret place has to be very, 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 very solid, because whatever you do in your secret place determines what happens on stage or in the open place. So, as musicians, as drummers, I advise that we go back to our secret places and dwell there. Like, that's where power is. That's where everything is. Secret place. Yep. I want to say a very big thank you to Drum Quarters. I want to say a very big thank you to, I call him Uncle Mike Oloyede. Yes, he's a big uncle to me, because he's one big inspiration that I look up to every day. If I ever have an opportunity to open, I'm sorry I'm going to say this, but if I open my Instagram or social media, I look forward to his post, because he's not playing what everybody wants to hear, but he's playing what is actually needed to grow. And so I want to say a very big thank you to Uncle Mike. I want to say a big thank you to Drum Quarters for having me here. It's a very, very, very big privilege to be here. I've seen so many big drummers in the country do this, and even outside the country. And so me being on this seat right now, I don't take it for granted. So thank you very much. And to the viewers out there, keep streaming Drum Quarters. Keep listening to Drum Quarters. This is one channel that brings great information to you. Every drummer you see sit here, they're actually great drummers, and you should actually watch them and check them out. So I remain Nonny. Thank you very much. Peace.